Welcome to our Vikings season in review show. The fellas will discuss whose fault it was that the Vikings missed the playoffs, who will be the cap casualties, is JJ mature enough to lead the team next year, and will the Vikings bounce back in 2026? Your comments and questions are welcome, and we'll read them live on the show. Take it away, fellas.
Yes, there are no more tears for our Minnesota Vikings in the year 2025-26. Well, there could be some in 26, but who knows? We're yet to get there. Let's kind of go over, recap the season that was. We'll go over what we foresee in the future. Vikings have a lot of decisions to make, which could be impacted as soon as this weekend when the playoff games kick off, due to the fact that Brian Flores is a free agent and a hot commodity. I'm joined by Tony Bell, top right-hand corner. How you doing tonight, Tony?
I'm here.
The brother with the same name, a name that should ring out as one of the greats here on the show, the one and only Ryan Peterson, the bearded one, is back with us. How you doing, Ryan?
Good. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, you're too big doing your own thing on the page. So, and just a reminder, if you want to add content like Ryan does on his own, big timer, you can on our page. We love it on our Facebook page. Do what you want there. Eventually, we'll create this YouTube channel to be bigger and better than ever, but we need your help. Like and subscribe if you like our content, and we'll do the same if you guys have shows out there as well. So, a lot to get into. Obviously, the Vikings finishing the season a 9-8, Tony, 5-game winning streak, a little distorted, really bad and questionable quarterbacking play, but that could be more on coaching. We're going to dive into certain topics. We're going to look at cap casualties, looking ahead 2026, Vikings needs, drafts coming up. But we're really going to center on a question that we have out there on the page tonight. Right now, I'm looking. It's 9-8 as far as yes to no. If you had a chance as the owner of the Minnesota Vikings, would you fire Kevin O'Connell? I'll make a case for that in just a little bit. It's a little tease. Would you fire Kevin O'Connell and promote Brian Flores? I'm going to hand it off to Tony Bell because I know what his answer is going to be, and that will be my answer as well. So, Tony, take it away.
It's a no-brainer. My God, get rid of Kevin O'Connell, you hire Brian Flores. I mean, we've had now, this will be KOC's 5th year.
Yeah.
Hasn't won a playoff game.
0-2.
Hasn't had an offense that is ranked in the top 10. He's supposed to be this offensive guru and this quarterback genius and all this other stuff. And yet we're either in the middle or at the bottom when it comes to offensive stats.
These stats will blow you away at how bad he's been.
He refuses to run the ball. And he just doesn't have, it's like he just can't, when it comes to his game planning, especially in the game, I question a lot of his game time decisions. I question a lot of his in-game decisions. There's just a lot of things that I've seen enough out of KOC to know we're not going to get where we need to get with him. So, yeah, you're gonna lose Brian Flores. So you got to think.
Well, Anthony Tollison here joining us. Thank you, Anthony. Saying he thinks Flores might stay because he thinks that and I think like we're going to mention this. We'll talk about it a little bit. The names that are available to be head coach this offseason may be the best all time in NFL history. We're talking about John Harbaugh, Super Bowl winner, has the Harbaugh last name. His brother at his presser out here in LA said he's the best coach in football. So that's from Jim Harbaugh to his brother. That's a bow down to his brother. Okay. Flores might be the hottest coordinator, but actually in experience, he would fall below John Gruden, who's back in the news as a possibility. Bill Belichick is just hanging there. And let me tell you, when you look at all-time greatest coaches, the name Bill Belichick will be atop that list. And he certainly will look at that Giants job if it's even remotely possible that they bring him in to be the guy to finish his career where he sort of began as the defensive coordinator.
Question, Eric, you do know Belichick is on that lawsuit, right?
Yes, I do know that. But apparently that doesn't matter because a lot of these coaches that have lawsuits, Gruden,
yeah,
Flores, they are all available, right? And I think you look at the Vegas job. I think basically that's there for a guy like Flores or a guy, who kind of Gruden maybe back to the Raiders. I've heard that too.
They're still paying Gruden.
They're still paying him. So what the heck? You can hire him and then put him back in position, right? And the Raider fans would love that. Believe it or not, they feel Gruden can.
Yeah, but with Tom Brady.
And Brady wants to stick his middle finger up to the NFL anyway, so that would be a Brady thing to do because he hates Roger Goodell. He won't listen to Roger Goodell. So Flores and Gruden could be atop their list. Although I think Harbaugh. It's funny. I've seen so many memes today, guys, Ryan, where I saw him like the Dolphin fans want John Harbaugh. There was pictures of him in a Raiders attire. He's atop their list. So this year, and don't forget Mike McCarthy, also a Super Bowl champion, is available to be a head coach. He'll get something somewhere. I can assure you that. I hope it's not the Tennessee job for him, but he will be available. That's another huge name. We're talking Super Bowl winner here, guys. We're not talking like just coordinators. We're talking about guys that have a place in NFL history that are able to be hired. So, Anthony, I see John Harbaugh going to Vegas, so he can maybe get with Fernando Mendoza, maybe, and obviously there's some talent there, Bowers, Crosby, and Vegas is an attractive place as far as salary and state income tax. But as I said on the last show, Vegas is probably rated as one of the lowest places to go for home field advantage. It's right ahead of, by one, LA for the Chargers. Two of the worst home experiences. That matters to a coach. Trust me. That stuff matters. And Harbaugh's got a bit of an ego. When he goes there, he knows he's still going to be underneath Tom Brady, Ryan.
I think for KOC, I think you got to see who you could get. Like you said, if it's Harbaugh, if it's somebody established, I would do it.
Right.
But kind of like my JJ feelings, I think you got to be a little more patient with this. But the way he's treated the quarterbacks and just how at times how dumb this team was. I mean, 8 false starts in your own building. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that Baltimore game's hard to forget for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, and that falls on KOC.
JJ McCarthy was struggling in that game, and for some reason, our head coach decided he should drop back 42 times and throw the football down the field. Made no sense when they were running at a 4-something clip that day. Made no sense whatsoever. None.
He can't help himself.
There's statistics that are available there that you can look at that tell you that Kevin O'Connell is not even a good play caller yet. He's not even a good offensive coordinator yet, and he never was. As Tony Bell said on the show, Sean McVay called all the plays in L.A. Kevin O'Connell, you would have thought, would have learned from it and adopted it, but he hasn't because unlike McVay, O'Connell refuses to run the ball at a ratio. Even when he said before the season, Ryan, we're going to run the ball more. We're going to get stronger in the interior. He tried to in the defense of Kevin O'Connell, the front office spent $270 million in contracts, which included 2 new interior offensive linemen, included a first-round pick that was supposed to make that a solid one of the top offensive lines in football. They hardly play. I think they played together once this whole year, once or twice. In 2 games, they played together as a unit for various reasons. Injuries, concussions. It was a nightmare. You can look there, some of the top-graded Vikings on both sides of the ball. The one name that shocks me there is Fabian Moreau at 71.4%. Was one of the top-rated defensive players.
How did he get on there?
I have no idea. This is pro football.
This is why I have a problem with Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
What does he play?
He's a defensive back.
Yeah, you never know. He's a quiet quarterback.
You never know because he was very seldom on the field until late in the year. But, I mean, there's no real baseline for PFF. They just put these numbers out there, and unfortunately, you've got people that buy it.
And offensively, I'm sorry, but I'm taking Will Reichert over Josh Oliver, Jalen Naylor. I'm taking Will Fries over those guys, too, offensively on the offensive line. He was the only one to play every snap and put up over 70 for a grade. I don't understand why he's not on there. So
Brian O'Neill was getting beat a bunch of times this year, so I don't know what PFF was watching.
I don't know either. I don't know what this is, but this is from Pro Football Focus, and this is their analysis as far as grades. You guys want to chime in on that? Who you thought should be on there or who not? Please do. Love your replies and joining us here on the show. So it's going to be a huge name for coaches, but let's get to our topic, our question again. If you had a chance to hire Brian Flores and fire Kevin O'Connell, would you do it? But what I'm going to now do is I'm going to pivot and I'm going to say who's more to blame for the 2025 Vikings lack of success. Is it the front office, who again spent $270 million on players? Again, Kwesi and his scouting team have produced no Pro Bowlers. Think about that for a moment. Kwesi drafting has produced no Pro Bowlers yet. In the, 4 years now that he's had that, including the infamous 2022 draft where he drafted Seam, Boot Jr., Ingram, Asamoah, Evans, Otomueo, and Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler is the only one left on the Minnesota Vikings from the 2022 draft. They have one player left, 3 years now, and that's all they have from that draft. You're going to say Dallas Turner's ascending in the direction of a Pro Bowler. You could actually argue that Will Reichert should be a Pro Bowler. But when you're talking about a kicker as the one guy you want to hang your hat on for Pro Bowler Ryan Peterson, this means, is there dysfunction going on from the front office? Or you can include the ownership along with the front office if you want, and it's trickling down to the coaching staff. I would argue, though, KOC's crappy coaching plus Kwesi's drafting and free agency ruined this year. I would agree with that, Anthony. But you could argue that the coaches, Flores and Kevin O'Connell, are probably telling Kwesi who they want signed. I don't think Kwesi signs players and is like, okay, I'm just going to sign Jonathan Allen and I'm going to sign Hargrave, and because I want to sign him, I'm sure Flores is in his ear. These are the guys I want, right? So who's more to blame? Front office, free agency draft, or those that are supposed to be coaching those draft picks into becoming players that are going to stabilize the Vikings for 3 or 4 years and not cause them to be in draft cap hell, which, oh, by the way, they're $30 million over the cap heading into the offseason, right?
I think it's a combination of both. They both kind of have their hands in this. I almost put more on Kwesi because of the drafting. It's now coming back to roost. And, I mean, he did what he could with the line, which we all wanted. We wanted better help on the offensive line. But I kind of put it on both of them. They're both to blame. And KOC's arrogance, again, like I said about JJ, has been the downfall of this team. Like, not committing to the run. You brought in Jordan Mason for what? When he does have good games, you back down from the run. Or, let's get 4 yards. No, let's not do that. I mean, you're putting too much pressure on JJ.
All right, so a little of both, but if you were to pick a side where you had to put a chip and you had to say, okay, it's the front office ownership or this is the coaching staff, KOC all the way down, Flores to the offensive line coach and Matt Dan. Actually, I did not know this, but I owe Matt Daniels a bit of an apology. The Minnesota Vikings, as far as overall grades and special teams, this would include punting and kicking, obviously, were the second best special teams unit in the National Football League. That's where they stopped teams on kickoffs. So we all think about the Chicago game like that could have cost the Vikings the season, Tony Bell. But in all reality, the special teams unit this year, second best. And I don't know what that says about overall the special teams as far as the league goes. Maybe there were a lot of bad special teams play in the NFL, but the Vikings supposedly are second best. I don't think he's going to be fired, Tony.
He's only second best because of Will Reichert.
And actually, Ryan Wright had a terrific year. And Ryan Wright's a guy that we'll talk about in a little bit because he's one of the guys that the Vikings have to decide whether.
As a former player, I'm just going to put this out there, and I know I'm going to piss off a bunch of former players, especially some teammates I've had. They're kickers. Pump the friggin' brakes. All they do is kick a damn ball. Give me a friggin' great.
Reichert carried the special teams, Anthony. He did. There's no doubt he did. I mean,
but here's another thing too. Reichert has a year he has because guess what? Your offense could not punch it in the end zone when they had the opportunity. And also, Reichert's got a strong enough leg that he can kick 50-yard field goals, maybe an occasional 60-yard field goals. So there's a possibility you're going to get points from him regardless. But the problem is, who do you put the blame on? Okay, front office can only do so much. Front office gets the players, drafting, free agency, whatever. The coaches have a wish list. They go to front office with this wish list, okay? Front office gets the players. It is now up to that coach and his coaching staff to make those players that they acquire fit into the system that they are coaching. Mm-hmm. And we have not seen that in the last 4 years with Kevin O'Connell. We don't know what they're teaching the Vikings. We don't. Offensively, we have no idea. I still don't know what they're really running with the offensive line, what kind of a pass blocking, run blocking scheme. I don't know because
it's a zone scheme. It's a bit of a zone scheme. I was reading it as far as what KOC likes. I didn't see a percentage. But
they're not running. That's not zone.
Yeah, well, they're running some off scheme of it because that's what it said as far as just ranking. How
it all bottom line comes back to Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah,
and he's got young players, but yet they won't play the young players. Flores had this problem too. He plays the older players, the established veterans. I swear to God, we had the oldest defensive secondary in football with Flores.
Yeah, we have one of the oldest teams in the National Football League.
Yeah, so. You can't. This isn't a way to go forward. It's just not.
Although, even with the old guys as quality control, just put the statistics for the past season. I mean, it's absolutely impressive. I realize the last 5 weeks they cleaned up on some underperforming teams. But the Vikings defense as a whole, when you can name maybe one or two of the people in the secondary, Harrison Smith and maybe Irod, the rest of it's Byron Murphy maybe, you're like, who the heck are playing back there? And that's what it's like. But it doesn't matter to Brian Flores. He figures out a way of getting them all to play as a unit. And it's kind of strange because, Ryan, I'm a big Josh Metellus fan. But when Josh Metellus got hurt and was out of the defensive lineup,
miss him.
The defense got better by a lot. I mean, not a little, by a lot. So, right. Next year we'll see the old wing T on offense, probably. Who knows? I mean, here's the issue. If you want to say you want to pick one or two coaches, and we've talked about Matt Daniels before, we've talked about Chris Cooper before, we've talked about some of the coaches and what they're doing. Still, the leader of that group is Kevin O'Connell. Right, he is the guy that has to make sure everything goes. And Tony and we talked before the show earlier this afternoon, and I just don't see Kevin O'Connell because I don't know how much Wes Phillips is a part of the play calling, if anything. Maybe he needs to listen to somebody else, and I think a coordinator needs to get in his ear more, or he needs to be less stubborn about it. But I don't think Kevin O'Connell, his philosophy to me seems like, hey, stay in your lane. Don't worry about my play calling. You do your job, and we won't have to talk during the year.
And that can be a twofold problem because now you're going to get a defensive coordinator who's coming in, and it probably won't be Brian Flores. But if it's not Brian Flores, you're going to have a whole different, complete defensive coordinator. If that defense doesn't do what it's supposed to do, are you not going to say anything? Because you don't want them saying anything about your offense?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, they could stay in-house. I mean, Durante Jones, I don't know. He's going to meet with Dallas sometime this week.
I'll be honest with you. Durante really does nothing for me.
It doesn't really do much for me either. I'm not – like the assistants aren't necessarily – I mean, I guess you're hoping that they can kind of be similar to what Flores is
and by the way, folks, when everybody says you should always draft in-house – how did that work for the Lions, people?
Didn't work out too well. No. They're already looking at a new offensive coordinator, and I don't know how Shepard's doing on defense.
Like McDaniels.
Next guy to go.
Yeah, they're looking at McDaniel already.
And the other name I saw was Mike Saravo for the Vikings. He's their linebacker coach. I'm not excited by that. It would be a huge loss.
That's the first time I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, I had to look it up, so trust me. But I saw it as one of the names in-house that Kevin O'Connell might select to be defensive coordinator. But what we're saying is these guys, Flores is not going to take anything from Kevin O'Connell. Flores is going to run the defense his way. But I often have wondered, and I've discussed this with you, Tony, is the fact that Flores is probably looking at this. It's right there. I mean, if you want to pick the two, I just went over some numbers. It's mind-numbing, right? Brian Flores could sit there in an office with Kevin O'Connell and say, tell me why I should stay in Minnesota, Kevin. Let's look at this. My defenses are ranked 11th, 2nd, and 6th overall for the time I've been here, while your offenses are ranked 28th, 23rd, 15th, 19th, and on third down production, you're dead last at 31.7%. How does that help my defense out?
And think
You're
about
going to stick with J.J. McCarthy, or are you going to bring a quarterback in here?
Here's another thing, too.
Get a running game that's going to make my job easier.
Here's another thing, too. How many times over the years, did Brian Flores get a turnover only to have that offense go 3 and out and end up right back on the field?
That's it. Remember, they were the king. This was even with Kirk Cousins. I remember them labeling the 3 and out team. Somehow the Vikings would score points because they were making big plays with Kevin O'Connell's daggers or digs down the field. Okay, we're using football's lingo here with some of his deep plays because, once in a while the offensive line would keep Kirk upright and he could make deep passes down the field. But, Ryan, what this says to me is if you're looking at that, if I'm Brian Flores with this information, if I'm the freaking Wilfs with this information in front of my face, there's no question that Brian Flores is the better coach. And maybe you just make that move of saying, you know what, Kevin, you don't want to change your offense. You don't want to listen to an offensive coordinator. We'll make it easier for you. You can go find another job. We're going to put Flores, who statistically has proven that his unit is doing better than Kevin O'Connell's unit.
I was just going to say, where are the owners in this? Where are the Wilfs?
That's a very good question.
They're the ones that should be sitting Kevin O'Connell down and being like, hey, look, you're screwing up. Either get it together or there's the door.
Well,
here it is. Yeah, literally.
Now that we brought up the Wilfs, let's just put it out there. There's only one Wilf.
Right, it's Mark.
It's Mark.
Mark is running it.
Mark is just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Passive. As long as the team makes a profit, it doesn't matter.
I mean, these stats are what the Wilfs are. First of all, the Wilfs are going to see it in their wallets, correct? I mean, there's no playoff game. There's no revenue from the Vikings playing extended games. So this is, okay, why did this happen? They had to ask that question. Well, your points per game was 26th in the lead at 20.2. Your rush offense was actually better than the pass offense at 108 was 23rd. You didn't run the ball nearly enough. We mentioned it here on the show before. A over 60% ratio of passing by Kevin O'Connell only was surpassed by Cleveland, Tennessee, and Cincinnati. And all those teams.
And they're not going to the playoffs. Yeah,
exactly.
And you promised us you were going to run the ball. And to be honest with you, Aaron Jones Sr. was available a lot this year. And you had Jordan Mason, who was healthy pretty much the whole season.
You had Xavier Scott you could have run.
Xavier Scott, anybody. And they were running at a 4-point-something clip, which, you know what? You run the ball 3 times at 4 yards, you get a first down. Maybe that third down ratio goes up there, KOC, instead of dead last in the NFL. But 108, and this is the segue. This is the segue. 188 yards a game. This isn't the Tavarius Jackson and just absolutely brutally horrible. And there's no defense of it. I'm sorry. Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, 30th in the league in passing with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones Sr., who's a phenomenal receiving back. This is catastrophic. Yet, we can put some of the blame on Kevin O'Connell, obviously, and when you're calling dagger routes or dig routes, which are really 3 to 4 or 5-step dropbacks, progression reading, okay? And if you haven't watched it and you're like, oh, what are you talking about, Eric, Tony, Ryan? Go watch Kurt Warner break down Kevin O'Connell's play calling. Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer. And you know what Kurt Warner said? I couldn't run these plays as a rookie. Yet you're having J.J. McCarthy, also Tony Bell, shotgun quarterback, playing behind center. Okay, this is a little adjustment that he had to make. Having to step back, look at 5 progressions, and decide which one's the best to get the ball to. What happened, right, guys? What happened, Ryan, when Kevin O'Connell said, we're 4-8, Katie by the barn. Let's just let him do whatever he wants to do, and we'll just let him run his kind of offense and whatever. We'll make it simple. First read. What happened to the Vikings when he did that, Ryan?
They started winning games.
5 in a row, correct? I mean,
yes.
Take away the Mad Max experience, which was a game completely won by the defense for the defense.
The thing with JJ in those games, he looked like the quarterback we thought he would be.
Simplified,
rookie,
making JJ look better, helping him. These are all things that a head coach should do logically.
Yep, exactly.
Right? I mean, come on. Skull State of Mind. Yo, right back to you. Thank you for watching. Remember to have your friends like and subscribe. We appreciate it. New members, join us. You guys want to do a show? Let's do it on this page. So
I like to say that I had other help those 5 games.
Yeah.
My mom saw, but yeah.
Well, that's right. Okay, so Ryan, tell the story, because your mom was a huge Minnesota Viking fan, and
I wouldn't say huge, but she liked them. She liked to give me crap because my nephew's a Packers fan. We have Packer fans in the family, so she'd be happy that the Packers made the playoffs. But yeah, it was just weird. Ever since after she passed, they started winning. And I know, like I told Quality Control, we didn't necessarily want that, but I'd rather see a couple hours of fun instead of the first couple weeks that it was just bad.
Yeah.
My dad passed away the year the Vikings went all the way to the NFC Championship game. And I remember putting the helmet in his coffin thinking, Dad, give us some luck. And I'm like, oh my God, if they win the Super Bowl the year my dad passes, this is amazing. This is like maybe it is divine intervention. So hopefully, though, Ryan, she can do what my dad couldn't. And maybe by the start of next year, with a little divine intervention, she can get God to like the purple a little bit more next year and help us do something that we've never done in the 60 years that the Vikings have been in creation, right? So, I mean, we've seen generation passes. Now, as a Red Sox fan, we were used to seeing generations pass and then keep the faith, right? And, at what point does the Vikings turn into the Red Sox and start winning things and becoming acceptable? This is the quest, the Holy Grail quest, where it's more of the Monty Python.
We are like on Chicago Cubs quest, because it took them 100 years.
It took them 100 years. So, I mean, this is where we're at. So the question then, a lot of Viking fans here have been banding about, unfairly somewhat, but you can understand their plight. Question that we're going to ask, and here, everyone, you jump on, you ask, you give us support or not on this question. Will J.J. McCarthy be the starting quarterback next year? Will he be riding the pine or on a new team? So, Tony Bell, this question for you to answer first. What do you foresee in the crystal ball? What should the Vikings do? What do you think they will do as far as the Mercurial 9 is concerned?
He should be starting. He better be starting. If it's not an injury, he should be starting. Now, the Vikings will screw it up somehow, because that's what they do, because Kevin O'Connell, he's already proved he doesn't have faith in KOC to run his offense. So will we see that idiot we saw before with the team back, or will we see somebody else? I'd rather see somebody else. You can find a proven veteran out there. You can. You don't have to recycle the idiot we had before and bring him back. You just don't have to. But JJ should be starting, and barring an injury, I think he will be starting.
Just quickly to say he should be. I mean, organization going to give up on him after what 10 games started?
You know what? And if you're giving up on him right now,
yeah,
that's on you.
That's on you.
Yep.
That's completely on you. And that tells us a little bit more about the supposed quarterback whisperer, Kevin O'Connell, being more of a quarterback killer. And basically, once again, the line that he used so eloquently last year, organizations fail their young quarterbacks more than young quarterbacks fail the organization. Well, then you are having a great test.
Having a great test there, buddy, because you're failing like a young
because you've pretty much failed this guy. Although Ben Gessling does say, Tony Bell, more along, I think, the lines that you were mentioning, that the Vikings aren't really going to go after a quarterback of high price notoriety, that they're probably going to go for a known guy that can be a quality back.
A known guy that they can pay for very little because you just got out of cap hell because of a quarterback.
Right. And actually, I mean, I don't think Ryan Peterson, Kirk Cousins, has done anything in his career that's been budgetary, thinking about a team's financial well-being. This isn't Kirk Cousins' thing. So even though Judd Zolgad, and there's some Minnesota shows, I listen to K-Fan, and they're like, well, it would make sense. He knows the offense. He's 38 years old. He showed down the stretch with Atlanta that he can be productive. Maybe we should bring him back. Your thoughts, like, what should the Vikings do with J.J. McCarthy? Start him, sit him, or maybe trade him for one of those big names that we've heard, that being Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson?
Okay, Tony, first of all, your head will not explode. I just want to make sure. First, I want him to stay ideally, but I think they need to sit down with him and, this 9 stuff, stop it. Until you
very
get
immature.
better,
I would agree with that. He's been very immature.
Yep.
I'm fine with it. Am I the only one that's fine with that?
Our city.
Am I the only one that don't give a damn about that? Come on.
You know what, Tony? It's different, though. It's different. Let me explain. Yes, and then you can go off on a rant. J.J. McCarthy, I think seriously, there's some dislike between McCarthy and O'Connell. And the only way I can phrase it is Kevin O'Connell told him in the practice before the Dallas game, do not do the giddy in the game. In the first chance that J.J. McCarthy had, he ran the ball in and he elongated. Not only did he do a giddy, he elongated it while he was going into the end zone. And then what did he say after the game? Yeah, when someone tells me not to do something, it makes me want to do things more. So that, that's okay. That's okay when you're winning, right? That's okay when you're Jim McMahon, punky quarterback with the Chicago Bears, who I kind of foresee JJ being like. And if that's where he's headed, I don't mind, because winning cures things. And keep in mind, as bad as this season was, JJ McCarthy as a starting quarterback, record-wise, gentlemen, was 5-4 as a starter, 6-4 overall in the games that he was participating. That's a winning percentage. You could actually go back and argue if he started in the game against Pittsburgh, okay, they probably would have won that, okay? I think they would have won that game. If he started in Seattle, I don't think he would have won that game. I think Seattle is just a better team. But there are times, let's not forget, Ryan Peterson, there were times, and finish your thought process on this, there were times when J.J. McCarthy made a huge comeback pass against the Chicago Bears. Let's not forget that. He made that killer 3rd and 5 pass in Detroit, in a state that he never loses in Michigan. So, Ryan, I mean, where do you think they're going to go, though? Who's going to be the babysitter for Kirk Cousins, or do they make the big move?
If you, and again, this is where I said, Tony, I don't want your head to explode, but if there is some way you could bring Kirk back for the right, like 10 million, over, 20 over the next 2 years. No.
I don't think Tony will be on the show if that's. I don't think Tony.
He's coming off that injury. He's not going to command the money, but I don't think that'll happen. I agree. It's probably not going to happen, but maybe like a Malik Willis or somebody that can just give him a push. Not a huge.
Malik Willis is actually going to get paid. Someone's going to pay Malik Willis. I think he's going to get a chance somewhere to be a starter.
He's going to be a starter. Malik is going to be a starter.
He's not going to Minnesota to catch.
You know who Malik could end up in? Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, Penix is probably out for half the season next year, so why not, right? Why not? And that will push Penix as well. I honestly, when I look at it, Tony, and then I want you to respond to that answer. Like Judd Zolgad is saying that on his shows. Like I said, hey, it makes sense. He knows this. He knows the system. He won't command that kind of money. But when has Kirk Cousins ever been fiscally caring about the other team's plight? He will. I think Kirk Cousins will look. Vegas could be an opportunity for him to go to be a starter for a year, to groom Mendoza or whomever the Raiders decide to draft. He's not coming to Minnesota. And Kirk Cousins in no way, shape, or form is going to give a rat's ass at developing J.J. McCarthy. That's why they had to have, what's his name? Sean Mannion. No one to even compete with Kirk. There is no way with Kirk's ego he's going to allow for J.J. McCarthy to be his caddy because he could give a rat's ass. He's going to want to steal that job. He's going to want to steal that job. There's just no – and you know what? As a backup quarterback, yeah, I want to steal that job, right, Tony Bell? I mean, I want to be a starter. I don't want to be a backup quarterback.
Quality control, could you put the nice little warning up? Thank you. Who are these goddamn Kirk Cousins dick riders out here who keep wanting him back on this team?
A lot of people.
What the hell did Kirk Cousins do when he was here that makes you think, oh, we're going to a Super Bowl?
One playoff win.
Parental discretion advised.
Who the hell are you friggin' Viking fans that want him back here?
Parental discretion advised.
One more time.
Parental discretion advised.
And why would you want him back here? You didn't do anything with him when he was here. When he was making all the money, you didn't do a goddamn thing with him when he was here. Yeah. Now you're going to bring him back, broken down, older, give him more money to do less?
He ain't coming for no bargain basement. No, that's not Kirk
Cousins. I mean, come on. Stop with the fucking kissing Kirk Cousins' ass, Minnesota. You fucking Viking fans that keep wanting Kirk Cousins back here, do me a favor, take your purple off and go cheer for the goddamn fucking Packers.
Oh, wow.
Parental discretion advised.
Wow.
You keep wanting to bring this son of a bitch back here, and you're going to keep getting the same goddamn thing. Backup, first string starter, doesn't matter. You're not getting where you need to get with Kirk Cousins.
But Tony, he knows Kevin O'Connell's system.
Goddamn time.
Tony, he knows Kevin O'Connell's system.
Tony, the blood pressure.
Yeah, no. I'm glad at least the quality control didn't play. Do you like that? Right? She didn't play that. She at least.
Yes, she did.
I didn't hear it. Thank God. It would have annoyed me if I had to hear that. You like that? No. No.
Well,
Stop it, Kirk.
Seriously,
leave us alone. You already stole. You already robbed our coffers for how many years? Yeah.
We would have better off with Kirk Hammett.
Absolutely. We sound a lot better instead of what we know Kirk would bring into the
I don't understand how these Viking fans, and I know what it is. A lot of it has got to do, and unfortunately, we have a front office like this. It's all about the numbers. It's all about. And I hate to say it, fantasy football. Kirk puts up great fantasy numbers.
He puts up big numbers.
He puts up big numbers. But here's the biggest number in the W column. And he's not putting too many numbers in that column.
No. He did not do what he was supposed to do. He had his chance, which is to deliver the Minnesota Vikings their first.
And not only that, didn't we? How many times did we extend him? Twice? Three times?
Twice. And then we did a contract where he got more
three
money.
Times.
At the back end. Listen. There's one area where Kirk Cousins is a Hall of Famer, and that is him and his agent getting
the money.
I fault him not.
By the way, we forgot something. We just stopped paying that guy, this year?
I think so. I think
we just stopped paying him.
We paid him to play in Atlanta, right? We did.
Yeah, we paid him to play in Atlanta. I mean, my God, people. Come on.
Bring him back. Oh, Lord. Well, exactly. Pink Floyd money. That's what he knows. He's a Hall of Famer, him and his agent in negotiation, no doubt. So basically, I think, guys, if I were to bring a guy in to sit there and help in this process, it's probably Joe Flacco. I think we love the fact that Joe still can throw the deep pass. If necessary, if McCarthy struggles and you put Flacco in, at least Justin Jefferson will stay happy and Jordan Addison, because the guy could still throw a mean deep ball. And actually, Joe Flacco, I think you and I said this, Tony, probably knows Kevin O'Connell's system better than Kevin O'Connell does, and could probably audible out of those plays when he knows that Kevin O'Connell's play is going to turn into crap.
You know what? And that would, I hate to say it, that would probably cause a problem.
Yeah. Oh, no, it would. You know what? It would be like when Josh Dobbs did something great, like run off script and get a touchdown, and Kevin O'Connell is absolutely
Kevin O'Connell shook his head.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Gary Quazzo's still alive.
Is he? I don't. If he is,
I don't know. Bob Lee is, though.
Let's get the General Bob in there. Let's get the great Bob Lee.
Let's go get Robert M. Lee. He'll play
football. But he won.
Shane Falco,
right?
come on.
I mean, listen, all we want, guys, is winning, right? And Kirk
we just want to win. I mean,
Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl ring, so I know he's won. And hopefully, Joe, being a veteran, will look at the young whippersnapper, the little ankle biter that is JJ
You know what, though?
McCarthy.
Here's the funny part now that we've mentioned it about Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Depending on where John Harbaugh goes.
Oh, yeah. He could be there.
Yeah.
And you know what? If he goes to Vegas, sit Mendoza, put Flacco there. That's smart. That's smart.
They might even bring him in if they, I don't know if they're going to keep Tua in Miami, but if he goes down to Miami, you bring him in with Tua. But I don't know if the Dolphins will keep Tua, but wouldn't shock me if wherever John Harbaugh is, there's Joe Flacco.
It could be.
I think that would
be a smart move. That's the kind of move I think that would have helped this year, guys, right? I think because 2025, literally, I mean, Carson Wentz is a nice guy. He really is. And they went cheap. They went cheap on the backup quarterback, and it failed. I mean, it just
they went cheap with one. Here's the thing. They went cheap because they thought that KOC could turn any quarterback and make him fit in his system. And we saw firsthand that ain't true.
Yeah, and I also think, Ryan, Kevin O'Connell was just way overconfident that JJ was going to get it because he didn't get reps in preseason. Had some soft training camp play. They didn't want to get him hurt at all because they know, listen, McCarthy's kind of a crystal doll. That is the big question moving forward. Can he even just stay healthy to try to prove some of the naysayers wrong already and make us kind of look better? And the fact that some of us really hyped up JJ McCarthy.
I hyped him up, and I still hype him up.
I do too. I think there's still something about him.
I'm wearing his jersey right now.
Show it. Get up there, Ryan. Show us the jersey. Yeah. There it is. Number 9. 9.
The Winter Warrior one.
he just has to get rid of some of that rookie mentality that he still has. He's 22 years old, guys. Could you imagine at 22 being a starting quarterback in the National Football League? I don't think it's really hit him quite yet. And, well, it did, and he got hurt. But
he got hit a lot more than he should have.
Offensive line just never. I mean,
and when you bring up that all goes to game planning, that all goes to scheming, and that all falls on the head coach.
That means, Tony Bell, you probably shouldn't call daggers or dig routes deep down the field when that means your quarterback has to have an offensive line to stay upright. I mean, there's some interesting stats right there. Quality control. Adam Patrick posted this. That JJ, when you look at some second-year quarterbacks or quarterbacks 22 or younger, right, JJ McCarthy is ahead of Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence, okay? Guess what? Those are 3 of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League right now. And
those three guys on top of them, their rookie years.
Yeah.
RG3, Mariota had a great rookie year.
Yes, he did.
Teddy, people forget, Teddy Bridgewater had a really promising rookie year.
He did. Some guys get it. What that tells you, right, Ryan, is some guys get this quicker. Some guys don't. Yep. So we got to be patient here. He's
one more note with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy did that without Adrian Peterson because that's the year Adrian Peterson was suspended.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
He did that without Adrian.
That's amazing. Teddy was never the strongest arm. Had a chance to talk to him a couple times. One of the nicest human beings ever talked to. He's got a sneaky sense of humor, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And Teddy just unfortunately got injuries. Too graphic. I don't even want to go over it. It just really ruined it because the Vikings were headed in that direction. You felt the mojo. Zimmer was smiling. When do you see Mike Zimmer smile ever? They had that
Never.
Chargers.
Yeah, exactly.
Stadium. Teddy was throwing the deep ball beautifully. Everything was fantastic. And in typical Minnesota Vikings fashion, 2 days later, after that game, on the practice field with Adrian.
Yeah, thanks a lot, AP.
Yeah, really wonderful. Fantastic. And then, Sean Hill comes in and then Sam Bradford and the rest.
And that was when him getting hurt was probably the start of the whole quarterback saga with the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which eventually led to the Kirk Cousins signing because we needed a quarterback. I'll tell you what, that year, they don't go get Kirk Cousins. I can tell you right now, Zimmer would have been happy to play Teddy Bridgewater.
Like Zimmer basically said to Peter Schrager, guys, at the NFL meetings, a move like that could get a lot of us fired, and meaning he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he wanted nothing. He knew it was going to cost him his job.
Yeah, he knew, and you know what? That's truth. It did cost him.
The only one who didn't think it would cost him his job, and I know that for a fact, is Spielman, and it did.
And it did, right? And we want to bring him back. Well, okay.
No.
So, 2025. When you look at it, gentlemen, to briefly kind of surmise it, then let's look at 2026. We'll talk about some players that might be back with the Vikings, who probably shouldn't be back with the Vikings, and maybe some guys that they should sign that's still on the Vikings before they leave. Tony, how would you surmise the 2025 season? I look at it as, I know we all had high hopes here for this team. We're all excited, as we do every year with being a Viking fan. We were believing all the free agent signings, hyped on the offensive line. JJ was finally healthy. I look at it as expectations not met, too many frustrating losses. I mean, the kick return by the Bears literally could have cost this team a playoff chance. One kick return. If you change that outcome of that game, this team's probably in the playoffs. That's what's kind of crazy about it, right? I suppose the Green Bay game would have been a little different because that game would have been for playoff purposes. So who knows what the outcome of that game would be. But how would you surmise it, Tony? I'm just going to say frustrating because the injuries, this was the year we had injuries seemingly every week impacting this team. They never were settled. Darisaw, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? I just read somewhere he's contemplating retirement, gentlemen. I don't know what that means.
The groin injury was nothing to joke at.
Right.
That he had. And then the knee injuries, if you can't play, you can't play. So then you're right back to square one looking for a left tackle.
That would be devastating if he just decides to retire. I don't know what that says about him, but that's a huge looking ahead to next year.
If your body tells you when you're ready. Sometimes it tells you when you're ready, and you think the players nowadays, they've had enough injuries that they're like, you know what, I saved my money, I can walk away.
And another situation where Kevin O'Connell's stupid play calling, retarded play call with 7 seconds left out here in Los Angeles at their own 10-yard line, you call a pass play, and Christian Darisaw went down season-ending knee surgery. It's one of the worst play calls in the history of Vikings coaches, Ryan Peterson. And that, just to add to what we've already discussed, another incident where you could have avoided that. You kneel down, and it seems to happen again and again with Kevin O'Connell, right? The Giants game, if you just kneel the ball down there instead of JJ going back.
Actually, just run the damn ball.
And then, that game didn't matter, but still a defensive touchdown. And here, just questionable play calling from Kevin O'Connell. That's the big issue. All right. So how would you surmise 2025, Tony Bill?
Major letdown. It's a major letdown. And yes, every team has injuries, but the letdown is your offense. This quarterback this coach who just won NFL Coach of the Year.
I know.
And this is what he does. And the only thing that literally saved this team was Brian Flores' defense. That's the only thing that saved this team. You don't have Brian Flores' defense, this team is probably a 4 or 5 win team.
Yeah, probably on the top of the draft.
We're probably looking at drafting second or third. But
instead of 18th, where we are now.
But and the one that's going to be looking, who's in demand is Brian Flores.
Could be gone. Could be gone.
So now you're going into this year, depending on who you get for a defense, I'll tell you what. if you want this team to win next year, that offense is going to have to pick up the slack
Big time.
and keep the pressure off that defense. Because guess what? You don't have Brian Flores. So we'll see what happens. But this year, 2025, major letdown. And I don't have much faith in KOC that he's going to be better in.
Or the front office drafting the right people to kind of.
Or the front office. I just think there's so many issues from top to bottom. And like I said before, and I said this earlier last year, I said this is karma for the not hiring Jim Harbaugh when you had him. So
exactly. It's amazing how that still kind of lingers over this organization. Ryan, your thoughts about the 2025 season before we get to a crystal ball and try to fix this thing for 2026?
I think it's a what could have been. You had the inconsistencies with JJ, the 23 offensive line combinations.
That's unbelievable.
Don't forget my personal favorite, 8 false starts at home against the Ravens.
It's amazing. I think they led the league in false starts this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they led the league in false starts.
And wasn't that Brian? That was Brian O'Neill, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that was a JJ cadence thing too. JJ was screwing up the cadence, and it's rookie, really a rookie quarterback, second-year guy. It just getting used to his style, which unfortunately the head coach didn't allow JJ to play within his style. So he's learning all these things for the first time, and well, you're just going to have to deal with that. But that's ridiculous. 8 false start calls at home. That has to be an NFL record. I don't know of anyone.
Upsides, I will say, Dallas Turner's finally starting to turn into something.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I know you guys aren't huge O'Connell fans, but the fact that they didn't quit when they were 4-8, that says something.
That's a positive.
I mean,
that's a positive.
Yeah, that is positive. But he's just gotta stop getting in his own way. Stop being so damn stubborn.
Run the ball.
If you're third and run the ball.
Run the ball.
Which unfortunately, I don't know if he'll do it because now he's got that power, so he can do whatever he wants. It's his team. It's literally the Minnesota Vikings are his team.
It really is.
So nobody is going to question anything he does. And if they do question it, you're probably going to see them not with the team anymore.
Well, we already seen when Judd Zolgad questioned his play calling,
Judd lost his press credentials. He lost his press credentials.
Yeah. Kevin O'Connell is he has the nice guy, Southern California charm, right? We've seen it. He doesn't ruffle any feathers, does good press conferences because he tells you nothing, and it's all everyone's happy.
It's all in riddle. It's all in riddle.
It is. It's all staged.
Yeah.
And, honestly, though, I think he's a stubborn person, quite clearly. He wants to do it his way or no way. We've seen that with certain quarterbacks that he's had. Joshua Dobbs. I mean, we can go to Mullins. We can go to, even Cousins. It took a while to adjust to Kevin O'Connell. And he talked about how complex his offense is. We've heard Kirk talk about it.
He's proud of that.
Yes, I know.
He is proud. He is proud of the fact that in order to play quarterback for him, you have to understand his playbook, and he's not going to make adjustments.
Yeah. What's funny is that, and this is why Aaron Rodgers didn't come to Minnesota, because Kevin O'Connell didn't want Aaron Rodgers audibilizing on the line. He didn't. There's no doubt he knew if Aaron Rodgers came, you would have probably seen Kevin O'Connell blow up a few times at Aaron because what are you doing checking out of my play? Well, what I'm doing is I'm actually saving your ass because your play sucked and it wasn't going to work against that defense. Okay. This is where his non-polished play calling skills are clearly evident.
Keep in mind, people, this is his first gig as a play caller, and he had to become head coach.
So also, when I look back at 2025, and then let's do quickly, some cap casualties. And if you guys have anyone that you think here watching the show, you think should be cut or re-signed, let us know. I also want to say thank you to CJ Ham and to Harrison Smith and any of the Vikings that are deciding to retire. Ryan Kelly could be a guy that could be out. So, thank you to the Hitman. It was a pure pleasure watching you play. And I still think there's a slight chance he might come back, but I think a lot of that will be predicated on the future of Brian Flores and, financially where the Vikings can be. But as far as casualties. Let's now slide to 2026. All those people that you see there on that picture that quality control put up, all those guys are probably gone, or if not, one of them might have to stay, that being Jonathan Allen, the farthest to the right, because his contract pretty much is uncuttable. So, but 4 of the 5 of these players are probably either going to have to reset their contract or just flat out. In Ryan Kelly's case, he'll probably retire, but Aaron Jones will be cut. Your guys' thought when you look at the crystal ball as far as players that you don't expect back, if there's anyone you want to add to this particular list? Tony Bell, it's your call. You're the GM. Who's back and who's not for the Vikings?
You could probably see wholesale changes on the defense depending on who the coordinator is.
Yeah. They have to switch to a 4-3 again.
If they bring, I'll tell you what, if they bring Jonathan Gannon in, he's a 4-3 guy. He started up here in Minnesota. So he started with Zimmer, but he is a 4-3 guy.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me that they keep Allen, but Hargrave he's going to be gone. You got to get a center. Juergens isn't the answer either, people.
No.
So you need a center, and if Darrisaw retires, you're gonna need a tackle, but that frees up money too.
That would free up a lot of money, actually.
That would free up a lot of money. Hawkinson, which I'll tell you what, I'll pay the other tight end.
Josh Oliver.
I'd rather pay Josh Oliver.
I'd rather have Oliver than Hawkinson.
Yeah. And
I think that injury really screwed up TJ's career. It really did.
And with Aaron, I think I love Aaron, but he's just injury prone.
Yeah, and I just don't. I think they need to have a young running back to go with Jordan.
Yeah,
Mason.
And you're going to have some surprises. Ivan Pace could be gone. You're going to have, you're going to have new corners depending on what this team does, but there's going to be some wholesale changes on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, hard to say, but that's KLC's call.
Center definitely is going to be
definitely.
You might have to be looking at Ryan. Wide receiver too, if they decide to trade Jordan Addison, which is something that might come down the pike as well here. And Jalen Naylor is a free agent. And, just to say really quickly, and then you guys can have your comment on it, and then we'll say goodnight. Must signs, as far as I'm concerned, they've got to renegotiate as fast as possible Jalen Redmond. And I know Darren Wolfson said that don't worry, Viking fans, they know that there will be a new deal coming. Restructuring contracts will help, Anthony. But Ryan, your look as far as some cap casualties that you think could happen, and then maybe looking ahead to something that they need to add, like a position that they really need to focus on to make something better happen next year, and getting the playoffs unlike they did this year.
I would say for cap casualties, Aaron Jones, Hargrave. Pretty much the ones we listed, but Hawk, I would see if you could restructure him. Maybe see if it was just him coming off that knee injury, almost like with Darrisaw. If Darrisaw doesn't retire, maybe he comes back better. Who would I would definitely get a center, and I guess at 18, if he's there, I'd take that running back from Notre Dame. That Love.
Yeah. Could be. That 18th pick, I don't know.
You know what? I would take a running back if I trusted KOC to actually use him.
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
It's just keep Ty Chandler, because what the hell? He's not only going to run the ball 5 or 10 times in a game. It's like ludicrous. You're not going to get the most out of him. So Love will probably not want to come to Minnesota anyways. Like, I know. I see this. I see the pass run ratio 60-40. Why would I want to go there? I'm not going to be a star in Minnesota. I would rather go somewhere else. And I don't think, I don't know. Things will change when we get to the combine. We'll be all over it. We'll talk. We'll do some mock drafts. We'll kind of get in touch with what the Vikings are looking at as far as, draft picks when Indianapolis comes around the corner. And it's going to be here before you know it. And the draft is right after
It's already next month?
It's already next month, right? And the draft is 2 months away. So we're right there. We're in like the NFL. The NFL never sleeps.
It never ends.
It never ends.
Unfortunately, it just.
Why they're going to add an NFL draft lottery? It can have another thing that will excite somewhere in the downtime. They're just going to take over. They're already taking over Christmas Day, which is of course making LeBron and a lot of the NBA players upset, which is okay. I don't care. But I really think when you look at it, and as we wrap this up, this season was disappointing. Ryan, you pointed this out, and Tony, you've mentioned this too. there are some good things to look forward to as far as the Vikings, right? We're not all jumping on them. It wasn't a complete.
It's not all doom and gloom.
Dallas Turner's going to be a
spots.
star. I think he's going to have 12 or 15 sacks next year. I really do. He is shot up. Actually, the defense again. Not only when Josh Metellus went out, I hate to say it, Jonathan Grenard, but when you went out and missed, Dallas Turner didn't miss a beat. Actually, played better than you did in a lot of cases. It's just he's younger, he's stronger. Tony, if a 4-3 does come in, if a Gannon comes in to bring a 4-3 defense, if Flores leaves, Dallas Turner will bulk up. He could be a stud defensive end, or you move Grenard to that position, and you have Turner at the outside.
I would have Grenard at defensive end, and I'd have basically Van Ginkel, Grenard, and Turner on the field all at the same time.
And I think they should keep Blake Cashman in the middle. They seem to win a lot with Blake Cashman, and you would have a nice linebacking core, and you see some young defensive guys. I mean, they just signed someone from the CFL. A lot of people don't know about Hutchins, but this guy, if you want to go look at some phenomenal tape, go look up some CFL tape. Jalen Hutchins is 6 foot, 310 pounds of just dynamite. Okay, that's what I'm going to call him.
I saw him play. I saw him play in Canada because I watched some CFL games.
You know what's amazing about him, Tony, is that helmet. He must have a huge head. That helmet looks like it's struggling to stay on his head.
Well, you know what? Nowadays, these players wear these helmets, and it could be the face mask, but they do them no justice. They look like they're too tight. They're too small.
Yeah, when they take their helmet, like Jared Goff, it looked like he was having blood cut off because he had the red mark going around. That had to be because of the helmet. And,
also, you're a defensive lineman. They don't wear the D-line cages anymore like they used to. So that's another aesthetic. But I mean, that helmet looks like it's 2 sizes too small.
But this guy is speedy. He gets to the quarterback, Ryan Peterson. Go look at the CFL tape of Calgary. He was an all-star there. I guess they call them all-stars.
They're all-stars in Calgary.
But this guy is like just a tremendous 8 sacks. He's going to come in. They're going to re-sign Jalen Redmond, who was one of my favorite players to watch. And I lead you to this too, Ryan. Would you keep Eric Wilson? That was one of the guys that I thought out of the free agency group that Kwesi had really played his tail off for the Vikings.
I would keep him as depth at least. Maybe a special teams rotational guy. And that guy from Canada looks like a beast.
Yeah. If you haven't seen him, listen, I'm just learning about him as well. Is a guy that, you know what, he's there to prove himself, just like Jalen Redmond proved himself. A lot of us didn't know who he was. He came in, did it the right way, developed his skills, and then the Vikings took a chance on him. And you know what, the kid can play. He played in the USFL, right? And then he came to Minnesota, and ever since that moment, he has done everything to earn himself a big contract. So, trade down, get CJ Allen, linebacker, Georgia. Yeah, they could go linebacker. There's a lot of the positions. Like, if we were to finish on this, gentlemen, give me your top 3 positions, Tony Bell. I'll start with you, that the Vikings have to address either free agency-wise or through the draft.
Secondary, offensive line, defensive line. The trenches.
Okay. You want more depth on the defensive line? Okay.
Yeah, I want more depth on the trenches.
I like Ingrid Dawkins. I like Levi Ryder. I think they're okay there. And this guy Hutchins. So we'll see. If there's someone falls, one of those big stud defensive tackles, studs, or defensive ends, you never can have enough good defensive players. Yeah. Ryan, your thoughts as far as positionally, looking at the crystal ball 2026 to make things better, what does Kwesi and the scouting staff have to do along with the coaches to bring the right players in? What are the 3 positions you're looking at?
I would say secondary. Can the lines be both the lines be one position or
trenches?
The trenches.
So you want defensive and offensive line upgrades? Is basically. Yep. Yeah, I would definitely go with that. I think those are good choices. I'm going to be more specific. I think they need a center. You got the 1st round pick in Jackson, who showed some signs. You know, he was a rookie. He had a tough game. I think the game against Green Bay, there was a game he just really struggled really bad, and it hurt his overall grade, or he would have been ranked a lot higher.
If you're playing next to school, you'd suck too.
That's true. All right. And Brandel at center was experience, right? Good and bad.
Yeah, come on, cut the guys some.
I'm going to say center in this order. Center. Okay, so I don't know if I'd use a 1st round pick on it. I think a veteran is needed here. because you're already, J.J. McCarthy needs a veteran if he's going to be your starter at center. Safety has to be addressed because Josh Metellus' play went right down in the toilet. Harrison Smith's gone. And if Brian Flores isn't around, then Theo Jackson probably is not on the roster. It's bad. The safety position is really bad. So safety, you can survive with Byron Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, and the cornerback situation. Maybe you add somebody. But, yeah, and Anthony, yes, I would have running back third because you have to replace Aaron Jones Sr. I would have that third. You can get a lot of good running backs in the later rounds. The Vikings have
depending on what's there in free agency, you could possibly see the Vikings sign a center in free agency.
Yeah, Jennifer Daly, center and running back. Thank you. Yeah, I think there's no question. Up the middle, trenches wise, always that's where you want to build your winners. I think maybe even a wide receiver. If they trade Addison, Naylor's gone. I don't have a lot of faith in Felton to come in and take the number 2 spot. You're either going to have to sign a veteran wide receiver. The good thing about wide receivers, I think you've always said this, Tony Bell, there's a lot of them, whether
they're a dime a dozen.
Agency, whatever, there's a lot of wide receivers. So if Naylor goes, if Addison's traded for more draft capital to fill the center, safety, running back needs, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I love Jordan Addison. I think we've said that many times. I just don't trust Jordan Addison. He just is a guy, unfortunately, off the field, you just can't trust him. And I think all that this season really laid on him a lot because I saw more drops from Jordan Addison, who I think was one of the top 2 or 3 wide receivers in drops, an area which was supposed to be a Viking strength was a major weakness this year. Justin Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson all had dropsies. Naylor down the stretch had a lot of drops. So on that note, let us know what you guys think here on the page. What does the crystal ball say for 2026? Needs that the Vikings need, and your thoughts wrapping up the 2025 season. We'll respond to your answers as soon as the show ends. For Tony Bell, for Ryan Peterson, for Quality Control, who always kills it with the pictures and the sound and the opens. We all say what, gentlemen?
Skol.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back frequently during the off-season to talk about all things Vikings, so stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Facebook group page with the same name. Skol!